How's your boy, kids? This is Dr. Callahan with Week 15 Friday. How are you guys doing? Congratulations, you guys made it to the end. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions for your warm-up vlog under Week 15 Friday. All right, so today we're actually going to be making a foldable. Before we do that, one of the questions I asked you guys is your return to education? And take a look at the following chart of salaries for students with high schools or less, 2-year degrees, and then 4-year degrees. And then take a look to see what is the trend. All right, so if you're doing this at home, you're gonna need a separate piece of paper, and we're gonna do a foldable. So on the outside of the foldable, you're gonna write down the question. Inside the foldable, you're gonna show your work. And so if this is your piece of paper, you just need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You need to have 8 flaps. Fold, and each of these cut. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the first question. Copy this part down. We're going to do a quick review when it comes to exponents. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number times this number, which is a negative 24. Then I'm going to count how many x's do I have. Well, 3 plus 2 is to the 5th. Y is by itself. And that is your answer. I don't really like those sounds, so we're going to change this a little bit. Okay, flap number 2. Take a look at the question. So with this one, it is in a division. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and divide it. So 25 over 10. You can reduce it by 5. So looking at this part right here, we're going to have 25 divided by 5, which is 5, 10 divided by 5, which is 2. And then what you're going to do with the 4 and the 1 is that the 1 is smaller, so you're going to bring it up. Well, 4 minus 1 is a 3, so you have x to the 3rd power. And then here you have a 1. This is a negative 2. You bring up the smaller number, which is going to be opposite of a negative 2, which is a positive 3. So you have y to the 3rd, and that is your answer. Let's take a look at number 3. For number 3, you're going to be rewriting this from exponential to radical form that we learned from yesterday, which is Thursday. So with the first one, your question is going to be a to the 5th over 3. And with this one, you are going to have, so then of course you have your radical right here, and we're going to go ahead and put it into exponential form, or sorry, radical form, or exponential form to radical form. So remember, this is going to be the power on top, and the bottom is going to be the root. So when I write it down, you have the root, and you have your power like that. So then you put the x down, your power is an 8, and your root is a 3, and that is your answer. Okay, so for number 4, as I look in this, what I notice is that I have 5 and 5. They're exactly the same. I also know that that's a 1. So what is a negative 3 minus 1? That should give you a negative 4 square root of 5. And then don't forget your square root of 6, which is your answer right here. Okay, number 5. So for number 5, we're going to do a little bit of simplifying. You know that the square root of 20 is the same thing as square root of 4 and the square root of 5, which is 3 times 2 square root of 5, which is 6 square root of 5 for the first answer. Your second answer over here, you have square root of 4 times square root of 5, which is the same thing as 2 square root of 5. So minus 2 square root of 5. Same thing here for the third one. Here you have a 4 square root of 4 square root of 5. Square root of 4 is 2, so what's 4 times 2? It is going to be a positive 8 square root of 5. And then the very last one, you have minus 5. What times that gives me square root of 45? How about 9 and 5? Which gives me a square root of 9 is a 3. Square root of 5, which is a minus 15, square root of 5. So then your answer for this entire thing is going to be right there. But you can go a little bit further with this and notice that this is a 5, this is a 5. They both have square root of 5. So what's 6 plus 8? It is going to give me a 14 square root 5. And then similarly, 5 and 5, that gives me a negative 2 minus 15, which is a negative 17 square root of 5. And then 14 minus 17 is a negative 3 square root of 5. And that is your answer. Let's take a look at number 6. For number 6, notice that this is a multiplication, but I know I could break this one down to a 4 and a 5. So that's going to give me a negative 5 times 2 square root of 5, which is a negative 10 square root of 5. Don't forget your 3 right there. So bring that down and multiply it. Since we're multiplying this, 10 and 3 gives me a negative 30. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is exactly the same as the square root of 25, but it's a 5. So negative 150 is your answer. Okay. Flat number 7 looks like this. So I want to get rid of the square root of 8. So I'm going to multiply square root of 8 top and bottom. And what's going to end up happening is that on the bottom, square root and square root cancels. So I have an 8. On top, I have a square root of 24, which I can break down into a 4 and a 6, which is a 2 square root of 6 over 8. And I can go ahead and reduce it to a 1 over 4 square root of 6. For number 8, we talked about exponential form, radical form, adding and subtracting square roots, multiplying, dividing square roots, and also rationalizing exponents in the denominator. Which one do you feel is the most difficult one that you will need to study a little bit more? All right, you guys, as always, I hope you have a wonderful week. Next part, what I want you guys to do is turn over to this page in your guided notes and go ahead and pick any 3 questions from each of these boxes and answer them. Have a wonderful week.